everybody, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Delilah and I make motherhood and homemaking content here on my channel every single week. In today's video, I'm just taking you through my week and sharing with you some recipes that I made, some dinners that I made, how I make my weekly bread. I'm just kind of taking you through some moments throughout my week where I was homemaking. Something that I have committed myself to recently is making all of our breads from scratch at home. It's not always sourdough, but it's always from home. And the reason I do this is because I realized how many funky ingredients are in our breads, our tortillas, our bagels, the things that we buy from the store, and it's really hard, at least for me, where we live, to find good whole ingredients in our bread. So I make our bread at home. I have a really good sourdough sandwich loaf recipe that I make once or twice a week. My family has been loving this lately, and I do have that recipe on my blog. It's an all-day process, so I can really only make it when I know I'm going to be home all day, and today was one of those days. Actually, we've been having a lot of those days lately. It's not even that like we can't get out or that we don't have anywhere to go or anything to do, but we've just been really enjoying being home and the coziness of being home. I've been finding so much joy in just the daily tasks, washing the dishes, the satisfying feeling of having a sparkling clean sink. It's not necessarily fun to do these things, but I get so much joy and satisfaction out of just keeping my home clean and tidy and spending these slow days at home. We just got through a really cold snap, and so the kids have been spending a lot of time outside, and of course with being outside they always request hot chocolate when they come in, and so once in a while as a treat I will make them some homemade hot chocolate and they devour this. It is their favorite, and it makes for some really fun childhood memories. We do homeschool as well, and so it's been really fun just taking these days a little bit more slowly, sipping some hot cocoa, reading books, doing our book work, and having fun conversations and enjoying each other's presence. That's something I really love about homeschooling, is that we just get to be together all day. We've been reading Little House in the Big Woods as our read aloud book lately, and the kids have been loving it. Like, it is by far their most favorite read aloud book we've ever done. And something that I found so interesting is how Ma would go through extra steps just to make her cooking and her home pretty. In the book it says that in wintertime the butter was more white in color, and she didn't like that. She wanted it to be more yellow like it was in summer because it was more beautiful. And so she would go to extra length to grate a carrot and cook it, and she would add that colored carrot water to the butter to turn it yellow and make it look pretty. I found that just so interesting and relatable because as a homemaker myself, there is something just so satisfying about putting in that extra length to make something beautiful. We are also going through some renovations right now. I'm working on a few different projects, and so it's just been really fun to be creative in that way and put my efforts towards something that is going to benefit our family and those around me. I'm coming back to my bread now. Like I said, it's an all-day process. It's been sitting and rising for half a day, and now I go through and roll it out and shape it and get it in the loaf pans, and then it goes in for a second rise. Funny enough, I actually leave my sourdough in my bathroom right now because it is colder outside. My kitchen is colder. It's on the colder half of the house. And so my bathroom is the warmest place. My sourdough thrives in there. It loves the warm space. So after I get it in the loaf pan, I actually take it back to my bathroom where it sits for the rest of the day. Zach is in his slower season of work right now, and so he's been home a little bit more, and we've been getting some projects started like I mentioned earlier. So it's been really fun just having him home and spending more time together and working on projects together. Tonight I was making breakfast tortillas because I had some sausage that I needed to use up. So I'm getting the tortillas made. These are not sourdough. These are actually from my Joshua Wiseman cookbook. I can leave that cookbook link below because I actually use a number of recipes in there on a regular basis. I usually get dinner started between 3 and 4 p.m. and when I get that started, I'm in my kitchen and I stay in my kitchen. I'm working in my kitchen or I'm in that area, and so I take some time before I actually start cooking to first do some tidying, to clean the area, clean out the dishwasher, just making sure my kitchen is functioning. I have to do this on a pretty regular basis throughout the day because I'm in here a lot, especially lately. That's something I've been really enjoying about the season, is not feeling guilty about spending time in my kitchen, because in summertime I'm outside a lot more. I'm enjoying that sunshine and the warmth, and it's wonderful and it's absolutely my favorite season. But I often feel guilty when I spend time in the kitchen because I feel like I should be outside. So that's something I've been really enjoying about this winter season. Here I'm parboiling some potatoes that I have cubed to get them ready for frying in some butter, some salt, some pepper, to make some homemade hash browns for the breakfast tortillas. And next it's time to roll out our tortillas. This was something I was so intimidated by until I actually started doing it and realized it's so much more simple than I thought it was, especially if you just do like a quick rise recipe. Or I guess you don't rise tortilla dough, but if you do a quick recipe like this one, it's so easy. It's just a matter of mixing up ingredients and letting it sit for a bit, and then dividing it up, rolling them out, cooking them on a high heat for a few seconds, and that's it. Like, it's so simple, and it's something I wish I would have started doing a long time ago. Well, I've been enjoying spending a lot more time in my kitchen. The kids have been enjoying spending a lot more time playing. Playing is something they have gotten really good at over the last few months. Like, they just go and do their thing, and oftentimes it's almost a struggle to even get them doing school because they're just having so much fun playing together. And it's been such a blessing for them. It's been such a blessing for me. So a lot of the time they're busy doing their thing, but every once in a while I've got some little helping hands in the kitchen. So for our breakfast tortillas, I added some scrambled eggs, some cheese, some of the sausage, and then some hash browns, and then I got it all nice and toasty in a pan. These were so good. We had them with salsa, the kids had them with ketchup, and when we do tortillas, I'll make mine and Zach's burritos whole, but then for the kids, I keep them separate. I give them the tortilla shell and then all the toppings, and then they love putting it together themselves. And usually around supper time is when my loaves are ready to be baked, and then they cool down for the rest of the evening. They get a nice coat of butter when they're fresh out of the oven, and it fills the house with this beautiful aroma. Ah, it's so good. My family cannot seem to get enough of this bread lately. Like, I've been making it at least twice a week, every week. In past winters, getting the kids to play outside has been somewhat of a challenge because they haven't really been able to play much on their own. But now, as they're getting older, they're more capable of doing so and they're enjoying it a whole lot more. It does take a lot of work to get them all dressed up in all their clothes, but once we get them all dressed up and out the door, they have a blast. Sometimes I'll stay inside and just observe them and watch them from the window. Sometimes I'll go outside with them like I did today and just enjoy that time with them. This morning the world was covered in this beautiful hoarfrost and everything was just sparkly and white and the birds were flying about and it was just almost magical. Now, I'm someone who really hates winter, and it's hard for me to find the beauty in winter, but this winter has been different. I've really been appreciating it for what it is. I've been able to see the beauty in everything. I've been really enjoying the season. Now granted, it has been a very mild winter, which possibly has affected my attitude towards winter, but I don't know, there's something about this season that's just been really, really beautiful. Like I was saying earlier, I've been spending a lot of time just being in my home and beautifying my home. I've been doing a lot of simplifying as well. Like I've been decluttering a ton. In the summertime, we spend a lot more time outside. So in wintertime, I like to spend a lot of time inside doing a lot of decluttering, home renovations, and beautifying my space. Slowly, I've been adding more items to my list of items I no longer buy from the grocery store and I make from scratch instead. And one of those items is granola. I've made this recipe a number of times, but my family has been especially loving it lately, and so we went through our last batch really fast. So I'm making another batch. Whenever I make this, I do a double batch, and then I actually divide it up and freeze it. And maybe this is really weird, but it tastes really good frozen. I've made this before a few times in a few different videos, and I will leave a video down below where I share this recipe because it's so good, especially with homemade yogurt, because yogurt is one of those things as well that I've been making at home from scratch for like a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. I make yogurt at home every single week, and we save so much money because of it. I spend so much of my life just wishing winter away and only looking forward to summer. Like, that's the only thing I can think of, and I've had a very bad attitude toward winter for most of my life. God has just been working in me this season and opening my eyes and showing me how much beauty there is in the slow pace, in the slow season. The dark days and the cold weather, they can get to me sometimes. But there is something about just not having to be anywhere, doing things that I love, like taking the time to work on my hobbies. I have so many hobbies that are indoor activities that I don't get to do in summertime because I'm outside doing other stuff. So it's been really nice just to enjoy doing those things again and to rediscover my love for things like sewing and crocheting, embroidery and baking, and all these things that I've always loved to do, but I haven't done in so long because I've just been busy. Getting back into those things has been so lovely. I can't remember the last time I've enjoyed January. Like, it's almost a strange thing for me to say, but God has just been filling my heart with this gratitude and this new appreciation, and I'm so thankful to Him for it. Having more time on my hands has given me an opportunity to practice recipes in the kitchen that I haven't tried before. So today I'm doing a beef roast. I found this recipe online. It looked really good and I was really excited about it because I tried some techniques that I've never tried before. I can't say I nailed it. I think I have some more tweaking to do with this recipe in order to make it just right. but it was really good. But what I'm doing here is actually stuffing the beef roast with garlic. I've never done this before, but it added just the most beautiful like caramelized garlic flavor to the roast. And then if you got one of those chunks of garlic in your piece, it was so good. Very slowly, here and there, I'm adding some girly touches to Annie's room. This used to be William's room, and so I had been adding some boy touches to this. But now that this is Annie's room, I've been adding some florals and some pinks and some girly touches here and there, making it more softer, more girly. In between all of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and everything that you see me do here, I'm also spending a lot of time being a mom. I'm wiping bums, I'm on the floor playing with my kids, I'm reading books. There's so much more that happens in our everyday life that you're not seeing here. And I've been soaking in every second of it because they're growing up so fast. Every giggle, every cuddle, every hug, I am just soaking it in and enjoying this stage so much. Like, the stage that my kids are at is such a fun stage. There's some independence from the older kids, but then there's still a toddler in the house and a baby in the house, and there's such a sweet dynamic between their relationships, and it's the cutest. I love it. So to go with our beef pot roast tonight, I'm just doing some simple roasted potatoes and roasted carrots. These are actually carrots from our garden still. This was the second last time that we got to eat these carrots. They're officially gone now, but I mean, they lasted us this long. I mean, that's pretty good. This year though, I'm already planning ahead and getting excited about my garden in summertime and some of the changes that I plan on making that I'm hoping are going to make a difference and increase the amount of produce that we get from our garden this year. I'm seasoning the carrots and potatoes with some salt, pepper, some paprika, and then a little bit of minced garlic. Very slowly the days are starting to get longer here, and it's making me very excited about spring and summer, but there's still a lot of time that we spend in the dark. It doesn't get light until like 9 in the morning, and then it's dark by 6 p.m. So a lot of my sourdough making happens when it's dark. Here I'm making 2 batches of sourdough bagels. Actually, I was going to make a batch of bagels for our neighbors, but they didn't turn out the way I wanted them to turn out. They weren't quite right. So I've stored them in the freezer for ourselves, and I'm gonna try that again at a later date. However, I've been making homemade bagels at home lately, and this is one of those things that I've tried a few times and I just couldn't get until I tried this recipe. It's so easy to do, and it turns out almost every single time. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that recipe linked down below, but I had made the bagel dough the night before. I let them rise overnight, and then in the morning I shaped and prepared them. Like I was saying, we've been really enjoying these bagels. We haven't had bagels in quite some time because we haven't been buying them from the store, and I couldn't get the recipe right. So now that I finally nailed these, my family has been very much enjoying them. The way you looked at me before makes me want you even more. If you want to, I'm up. The sky has been so beautiful lately, like the most beautiful sunrises and sunsets. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.